Hello, good morning, and welcome to Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two rye whiskeys, and they're both now discontinued, but they still make them, but not this expression. Here's Creek Rye, Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey from James B. Beam Distilling Company, introduced in 2012, and then last year replaced with a newer aged, two different age 7 and 10 year rye whiskeys. Okay, so you could still find this. I did earlier this year, but it is phased out. There's no website listing. I found this bottle, half size bottle, $6.99. So I bought two of them. So heck, $13.98 for a full size amount of Knob Creek, which usually runs $28.99. Great deal. Hold on a second. Yeah. Now the competitor is Templeton Rye. It doesn't say straight rye, it says Templeton Rye. It's made with imported grain and U.S. grain. So I don't know where the imported grains are coming from. They don't say, it just says imported. It's got a wooden cap. I believe that's a synthetic rubber stopper. I want to update my notes. Kentucky Straight Rye. Imported and U.S. and imported grains. It's not listed as a straight rye. I don't know if that's because of the grains. I don't believe that matters. It just has to be distilled in a state, which it is distilled all in one state, Indiana. So that would make it straight rye. And it's aged at least 4 years. So that would qualify it, of course, for straight rye, because rye straight only has to be 2 years. But it's bottled in a different state. But I don't think that's important either. But if you read your regulations about harmless coloring and flavoring, rye whiskey is allowed to have harmless coloring and flavoring added, and they don't even have to put it on the bottle, on the label. Label disclosure is not required. So it's, I forgot the glasses. Boy, this is not going well. I thought I had everything set up, but I didn't. So I'm thinking that could be the reason. So there it is, a nice embossed glass bottles, fancy looking. I don't know what the price is for this. It was given to me, thank you, David, as a gift. But I think he did get a deal on it. He just saw it. And now we know why he got the deal, because they were getting rid of it. They were phasing it out. So when they phase out these products, you can very often get a great price. All right. I don't really need tags, because there's no way I'm going to confuse a 100 proof rye with an 80 proof, but I'll put the tags anyway, just for the sake of it, but I don't really believe that's necessary, and it's not going to be much of a challenge. So it has a pretty bottle, I'll give it that. Indiana rye on an Indiana night. Now, there's a huge, well, you may not know this, there's a huge distillery in Indiana. It's been there since the 1840s. It was owned by Seagrams until 25 years ago, when their owners got out of the liquor business, interestingly, and sold all their assets. So now it's called Ross and Squibb Distillery, but it's owned by Midwest Grain Products. who also owns Luxco, and as of 5 years ago. And they do a lot of contract distilling. Now they make their own stuff that they sell. You can find it at Walmart. I think Aviator Gin is one of theirs. Aviator Gin, and I think Uncle Remus or something like that is one of their bourbons. But I think most of their money comes from contract distilling. They make plenty of money off of that. They just churn out base liquor all day long, and you can choose. Like, they'll have this kind of rye you can pick, this kind of whatever, I think this one is 95% rye, 5% malted barley, if I'm not mistaken. MGP has that listed. Mr. Amazing 3001. Mr. Amazing says, "Good morning, Ron. I hope you had a happy 4th." I did. I worked for over 8 hours, but I don't mind working. Some people were saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you had to work." I wasn't sorry. It was busy, busy like crazy, but it was all right. Okay. Oh yeah, appearance. The Templeton is amber, and Knob Creek is copper. Now, would I consider buying the updated versions of Knob Creek and Templeton Rye? Knob Creek Rye and Templeton. Well, yeah, sure I would. I'll still have some rye whiskeys on hand, though. So, I mean, and Mr. Amazing is listed as a top fan. That's something YouTube started. I don't quite understand how that works, but I guess they track how many times you're watching and commenting. Give you like a badge, to encourage you to keep doing it. But eventually I'll need to get some more rye in, so yeah, I would definitely consider those. Why not? Daylight is arriving there. It's becoming daylight outside. And I was walking earlier. I walked half a mile and there was no breeze whatsoever. It was totally still air. Still humid air. And I was in a clear sky. I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to be a hot day today. Got to 95 yesterday. Could be worse today. All right. Now the new one, the new Templeton Rye 6 year, was talking about non-chill filter and all this business. So I could check my notes. Let me see if I typed in Templeton Rye on my database. I keep a database of a lot of beer, wine, and liquor. No, they're not showing a mash bill on it. Not, and I would have written that down in my notes, so we won't worry about it. Now, Knob Creek probably shares the same or similar mash bill to Old Overholt and Jim Beam Rye, but what they do is they make some of them high proof, mid proof, low proof, down to just 80. Some are age 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. So that's how they, and they can use different barrel char, thick, medium, low, medium, thin. So they're taking the same thing and they just producing it different ways to give you a different outcome. Like I said in an earlier video, like Taco Bell does with their base ingredients. Yeah, this doesn't smell like much, kind of neutral in the aroma. It's not a bad aroma, it just doesn't smell like much. All right, over here. Kind of basic, also not much aroma, a little rye bread, but ultimately not a whole lot happening. But the taste is where it's at. Cheers. Ooh. And I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for breakfast, so I don't think that's going to interfere with the flavors. And not on rye bread, on regular white bread. From Aldi. Aldi's got good fluffy white bread, and they got the lowest price in town, so that's where I buy mine. That's where I buy mine. Okay, tastes like rye whiskey. simple. It's not fancy, and the flavor is not like, oh wow, it's amazing. It's just like, oh wow, that's Indiana Rye. Much higher proof. You could just taste it, boom, off the bat. So obviously Knob Creek Rye. That's why I said I didn't need tags in the way I'm gonna confuse them. So Knob Creek, of course. So can Templeton Rye hold up to Knob Creek? No, not these two. Not in this case. Now, for my personal preference, I would rather the Templeton because I like the 80 proof, the lighter presentation. This is me. You say, well, you're weak. You're weak. Yeah, that's probably the answer. I'm not being sarcastic either. But other people, just depends on the person. They prefer the stronger proof, so that would really suit them. So as far as overall flavor and boldness and character, Knob Creek takes the show, runs away with the show, and it's been happening every challenge, if you want to call these challenges, and not really a challenge because you're not going to confuse it. Now, I got a few more ryes coming up. Do they stand a chance? I don't believe so. You know, I'm thinking, well, maybe the Crown Royal 95% rye, they call it Northern Harvest Rye. And I think that's 90 proof, but still, it's pretty mild. It's very good, but it's pretty mild. Now, what about there's even a rye whiskey from Scotland. Some people have this idea that you can only make rye whiskey in the United States. Untrue. You can make a rye Scotch whiskey. And Johnny Walker did. It's 60%, if I'm not mistaken, 60% rye. So therefore, it's a rye whiskey. It's, but it's only 80 proof, I think. Very nice product. And for whatever bizarre reason, Walmart has it for a super low price. It's like $20. Yeah, like $20 cheaper than everybody else. Can't figure it out. Can't explain it. Let's see. Do they still have any Templeton 4 years over at Total Wine and More? Yep. They got a handle of it. And they're showing the old label with the people drinking on it. $49.96 for a handle. $20.99 for a 375. So it's somewhere in the middle. So yeah. Yep. That's the story. Listen, Johnny Walker High Rye. Johnny Walker. I don't think rye whiskey is technically a category in Scotland. You see what I'm saying? That's why I call it high rye. They just call it Scotch. There's two types of Scotch whiskey: blended, which Johnny Walker is, and single malt. So it would be a high rye blended. But if it was made in Kentucky, it would just be called a rye whiskey. Okay. $31.99. Yep. It's really a good price, honestly. But $31.99, but Walmart's got it for $20.27. I think some weird. I don't know why Walmart always says these weird. Like they won't round it off to 99 cents, but 27 cents. But by charging that extra 28 cents per bottle, they've made up for inflationary problems, because it used to be $19.99, and it's not a sale price. I can go to Walmart right now and get it $20.27 plus tax. Don't need any more of it. Normally, Total Wine & More beats Walmart, usually by $1. I think they just look at each product on their website, and if Walmart has it for 27, they'll say put it at 26, and so forth. But not in this case. Not Walmart's got them beat by over $10. I meant to say over $10. Is Knob Creek easily available at Walmart? Yeah. Templeton, I don't remember seeing that, but I could have overlooked it. They got a lot of stuff over there in their liquor section. Well, Sorry, it wasn't much of a challenge, but that's the way it goes. I've got George Dickel Rye. I believe that came out in 2011. Not George Dickel. Bullet Rye. Wasn't that also in 2011? Same year as George Dickel Rye introduction, something like that. I'll double check. Bullet Rye in that green bottle that you see everywhere. I think it's also 95% rye, 5% malted barley, also from Indiana. Charcoal mellowed and chill filter, because no, not chill filter, charcoal mellowed. I don't know. I don't remember. They have it on their website. I get confused, but what is it? 90 proof. It won't really compete. It's going to get beat. And then I might have one more American rye. Oh yeah, I do. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye, no longer made. Why they discontinued that last year, I do not know. I guess the sales were poor or something. But yeah, that was a disappointment. Now I see why Walmart had it for $9. Full size bottle too, $9. My friend David called me. You need to go to Walmart right now. They got it for $9. I said, well, I'm not too worried about it. I got a bottle already. I said, but if they still have some when I'm over there, I'll pick it up. Oh no, it's gonna all be gone. And usually that is the case. I'm not making fun of him. That's usually the case. I just wasn't worried about it. But I went over there the next day for something else. There it was on the shelf. It was like eight bottles of it. 8 bottles for $9 on that bright yellow tag. I was like, yep, I'm buying it. Well, of course, 2 days later or whatever, it was totally wiped out. Because people get the word, the word gets out around this town. Hey, you got it, it's gone. Like when they had that Hornitos Cristalino. Man, that thing is like $38 on the normal price area. Like a total wine is like $38. Walmart had it for $10 even. Can't explain it. Makes no sense to me. I saw they had like 6 bottles. I bought one for 10. I told a lady at work, I said, they got Cristalino from Hornitos, $10. She said, I'm going as soon as I get off of work here, I'm going over there. She said, but it'll probably all be gone. I said, yes, most likely. But she went there and she noticed it was one bottle shoved way to the back of the shelf and people hadn't noticed it. So she took it and bought it. She said, that's the deal, huh? I said, is it? Now, I'll say to myself, well, those deals aren't going to keep happening, And then earlier this week, it happened again. They had the doggone Ezra Brooks Bourbon Cream, which you might find for $20, $19.99. If you're lucky, you might find it for that. They tried selling it for over $30. Nobody was buying it. But Walmart had it for $9.50. And I saw that online. I was like, well, that's a mistake. I know when I go over there, I had to go to Walmart for something. It's only half a mile from here, so it's not like I got to go a long way. I had to go over there for something else. And I saw the bottles, and they had the tag with the higher price. So I said, let me see what it's going to scan to. I said, can you scan it? He did, $9.50. I said, wow, I thought the website was wrong. He said, oh, that's what it is. I bought it. Did I need any more bourbon cream? No. I was getting worn out on bourbon cream, really, and cream liqueurs. But they are good. And I just pour a little bit at the bottom of the coffee cup, and I put some cinnamon on top, and then pour the black coffee on that. Just the pouring mixes it. It just mixes by just the force of the coffee being poured in. Oh, that's a nice little breakfast treat. Let me say that to you. Let me say this to you. All right. Well, anyway, news is coming on. So cheers to Templeton. Very well made product, but can't make it against Knob Creek. No way. All right. Y'all take care now and have a great Saturday. Bye-bye, everybody.